Kia ora everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about The Motivation Hacker by Nick Winter. I'll share with you my key takeaways. Let's get into it. The Motivation Hacker is a short, fun book about a dude trying to smash a stupid amount of goals in 3 months. Nick Winter talks about building a hit iPhone app, learning to skateboard, being best man at 2 weddings, reading 20 books, and a whole bunch of other goals in 3 months. One of those goals is to write a book, hence The Motivation Hacker. The book is about how Nick Winter manages to achieve almost all of those goals using what he calls motivation hacks, little tricks that help build motivation and keep him on track with those goals. Here are some of my key takeaways from the book. Firstly, the motivation equation. This equation apparently comes from temporal motivation theory, work done by Piers Steel, and there's more about this in the procrastination equation. So what is the motivation equation? Motivation equals expectancy times value over impulsiveness times delay. Expectancy is how confident you are that you're going to succeed. If expectancy is high, motivation is high. Value is how rewarding the task is. If it's important to you, then motivation will be high. If it's not important, then motivation can be low. That's why it's so hard to summon up motivation to do boring, mundane shit that isn't valuable. Impulsiveness is how easily you might be distracted. If impulsiveness is high and there's a lot of ways you can be distracted, then motivation is low. Delay is how far away the reward is. The lower the delay, so the closer the reward, the higher your motivation. This is kind of why it's so much easier to play video games or chuck on a movie on Netflix rather than study for that exam or work on that long-term project. You get the rewards of playing Xbox right now, whereas the reward for the exam is ages away. So that's the motivation equation. To boost your motivation for a particular task or goal, you want to increase the expectancy or value, or decrease the impulsiveness and delay. The rest of the book is Nick Winter talking about all these different motivation hacks that help you build motivation. Here's some that I found helpful or interesting. Success spirals. Success leads to confidence and motivation, which lead to more success. Success spirals are when you build this confidence and motivation by following up successes with more successes. You first make your goals really small, like really, really small. So small that it would be ridiculous for you to fail. And then, as you get used to beating that goal, you build on it slowly. In this way, you're climbing your success spiral. I realized that I'd already been using this technique before reading about it in here with push-ups. The goal is that I do a set of push-ups every day. And at the start of every month, I increase the daily amount by 2. I started off doing this last year with like 2 push-ups. 2 push-ups every day. Way too easy for me to not do it. Of course, there are days when I forget, but most of the time I hit that goal, and it builds the motivation to keep going and keep building that number. So, success spirals. The key takeaway here is to start small, get a few successes under your belt and get used to succeeding, and then build up to the bigger stuff. Next up, pre-commitment. Pre-commitment is exactly what it sounds like. Commit to something beforehand. You're basically making a decision for your future self now, so that when the time comes, you don't have a choice, and you have to go through with whatever it is you decided. This is really helpful when you do it with someone else, especially for something like working out. Lock that shit in with someone else in advance, and 90% of the time you'll go through with it. You can boost the pre-commitment by using a whole bunch of pre-commitment devices, which is what Nick Winter calls them. His example was to go skydiving, which he apparently was really scared about. So, he publicly announced that he was going to do it. He paid for it in advance and booked it in. He committed to giving away a few $1,000 if he failed, etc., etc., etc. He basically made it so it would be a huge mission for him to bail, and in doing so he drastically reduced the likelihood of failure. Pre-commitment. Next motivation hack, burnt ships. Burning your ships is when you remove potential distractions before they can even distract you. You think of possible distractions and then you make it so that it's impossible to do those things while you're working towards your goal or trying to do a task. I really like this one and genuinely use this hack all the time. For me, a big distraction is social media. I'll be trying to write a script or do some editing and then I'll find myself mindlessly scrolling through Instagram for like way too long. To burn the ship here would just be to get rid of my phone. Chuck it in the other room while I'm working. This makes it so much less likely that I'll procrastinate or lose focus and just jump on my phone. So, burn your ships. Time coins. This next one's not really a hack, but more of an idea. There's this quote in the book that I really like. It's from the poet Carl Sandburg. Time is the coin of your life. It is the only coin you have, and only you can determine how it will be spent. Be careful, lest you let other people spend it for you. Nick Winter goes on to say that even though almost everyone says I don't have time for it, about anything they really want to do, we actually do have time. We're just choosing to not spend it on those things. Sure, there's actual limits on certain bits of time. We might actually have to do our day jobs, but it's up to us how to spend the other bits of time we've got. Nick Winter's points here are that everyone could be putting time towards their hobbies, and one of his other main points is that it doesn't take a lot of time to work on your goals. Having a goal or something you want to do doesn't necessarily mean spending hours on it every single day. For example, the guy learned to do a handstand by just practicing for 1 minute a day. I don't know how I would use this idea in my life, but I'm sure it's a valuable idea. Time coins. So that's it. Those are my highlights of The Motivation Hacker by Nick Winter. There's way more in the book, so check it out if you are interested. Let me know if you've read this one and found it helpful, or if you can think of ways we can use these hacks in our daily lives. That's it for this one. Hit the like button if you like the video, because it actually does help. And subscribe if you want. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.